of our history and our heritage. To deny our history and our heritage is a deprivation to our society. Well, when we're talking about public schools, denial of our history and our heritage is just as much of a deprivation. The Ten Commandments and the posting of the Ten Commandments has been an acknowledgement of that history and heritage, not just generally, but of American law itself. And you can trace the origins of American law from bankruptcy law to criminal law to tort law to family law back to the Ten Commandments and the history of it. We don't just talk, we actually work with states all the time. We work with organizations in North Carolina to actually put up the Ten Commandments in public schools all across the state. And they did so in the context of history and heritage. It's an easy thing to defend, and I make it very clear. I think that is the intent of anyone that I know who's supporting this. And I think it's good to go on the record that that is the purpose of this, and not to in any way proselytize in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Members, questions? Mr. Dacus, great to have you here. It's you've got quite a pedigree. We appreciate you taking the time to be here in front of Senate Education and to provide some expertise. How did we get so far away from what we're discussing today in our public schools? You saw Mr. Barton brought forward one of the first textbooks from the 1600s published through the 20th century, but in your opinion, how did we get so far away from this conversation that we're having today on just interesting opinions on a return,
right,
where it's really where we always were to begin with?
Yeah, you said that very well, and of course I want to recognize David Barton and his organization, along with Matt and First Liberty. I think they did a great job in their presentation. I think that what we're dealing with is an implicit, indoctrination and of false presuppositions of our Constitution. One of them is the separation of church and state. Even before the last three appointments to the Supreme Court, the majority didn't sign off on that, but agreed instead with benign neutrality and accommodation. But this has been a misnomer that has been growing, particularly since the 1940s, and has manifested itself more and more in a society that is wanting to not appreciate or separate ourselves from the reality of history. I've told people who have different beliefs and foundations that they're free to have those beliefs and foundations, but that gives no predicate for denying our youth reality and truth as to our history and our heritage. Our youth today, they need to understand our truth. They need to understand our nation and where we came from. To do so leaves them handicapped in understanding where we should go and how we should get there.
And how do you feel about, just opinions related to displaying the Ten Commandments in public school classrooms, violating religious conscience, or stripping a parent's right to explain the Ten Commandments to their own child?
Yeah. Parents still have their rights to explain the Ten Commandments. They can explain it as they wish. Just because, like, for example, if the school district decided to post, symbols of the Aztecs and their history of what they did, that would in no way be implied by a parent that the school was in some way endorsing the religion of the Aztecs and sacrificing babies, except maybe in the state of California, but that's another point. But that's in no way should a parent be presumed to assume that this is a religious indoctrination. Once again, to deprive our children of our understanding of our laws, our heritage, is a tremendous disservice and a slap in the face to quality education for a generation dealing with challenges and changes moving forward. Understanding our history, understanding our origins of our laws, understanding the concept of where fundamental rights come from is a huge disservice. And I think having the Ten Commandments is an educational tool for a valid secular purpose, even though I'd like to note the Lemon Test is dead, and this Supreme Court I'm very confident would uphold this as being constitutional.
That's great. Members, any questions, Mr. Dacus? Thank you.